Welcome to school. It's officially time to learn how to actually be a profitable sports bettor instead of pretending to be. Throughout this course, I'm going to teach you guys everything that I've learned through 5 to 6 years of being a professional sports bettor, starting with $16 to my name, and now in 2024 making $750,000 betting on sports. We're going to learn everything from the very basics to the most intricate, complicated details of sports betting that you never thought you would ever need to know. Throughout this entirety of these videos, you're going to learn how to change your life, not only just become a profitable sports bettor, but at first, how we're gonna lose less, and then step 2, how we're gonna win more. There's multiple different ways that you can do this. Every person throughout this course is gonna find a different niche and different type of way that they like to bet. I'm gonna provide so many different examples, so many different ways that you can become profitable. I hope you guys love this, and I hope you make a ton of money. Remember, once you get through this and we meet again, make sure you write down a bunch of questions so that when we meet after this, you can ask me anything that didn't make sense and I can help you understand it. I want you guys to be able to go from step 0 to step 100 in your sleep. So make sure you're writing down questions and taking some notes during this, because there are some complicated topics and you're going to feel lost at times. At this point, we've already met on the phone one time. So you guys have all the resources, all the apps that you need to have downloaded on your phone ready to go. So when I talk about them, you should have a general understanding of what I'm talking about. So if you guys are ready, we're gonna start with step 1, the most important, bankroll management. Before we even place a bet, we have to understand what managing our bankroll means. Now, you're gonna hear so many different ways that people manage their bankroll. To me, there's only one right answer. This is how all professionals do it. You have 100 units. I have horrible handwriting. I'm a better sports bettor than I am a writer. You have 100 total units, right? So 100U. To figure out what our unit size is, we have to figure out what our bankroll is. So your bankroll isn't how much money you have. This is like a massive common misbelief. People are like, oh, I have $7,000, so that means my bankroll is $7,000. No, your bankroll is how much money you could afford to lose gambling and still be able to get on with your life. So if you have $10,000 to your name, your bankroll, probably $1,000 to $2,000. It's completely different for every person. If you're in college, it might be more because you don't have as many expenses. But if you have a wife and kids and a house, your bankroll is going to be lower because you have more expenses. So it's whatever you could afford to lose, not that you're ever going to. It's just in case. Your bankroll is how much you can afford to lose without going into debt, and you still be able to get on with your life. So let's say for this example, just to keep even numbers, our bankroll is $1,000. We're going to put this in green. 1,000. This is pretty simple math. If you are trying to find out what your unit size is, and you have 100 units, always, no matter what, we're always gonna have 100 units. All we have to do is divide our bankroll by 100. And that's how we figure out what our unit size is. Because if we always have to have 100 out of them, we just divide our bankroll by 100. So now our unit size is $10. And this math always works out no matter what your unit size is. So if your unit size is $10,000, you divide by 100, your unit would be $100. So your unit is different for every single person, but it doesn't mean that someone's necessarily going to be more profitable than another just because they bet more. When I first started doing this, I was betting $5 a game, and now I'm betting $5,000 5 years later. Now you guys will be able to increase your unit size more quickly than I will, because when I first started, I had no clue what I was doing. Now you guys have this entire wealth of education that you can use to increase your unit size more rapidly. When I first started, I had no clue what I was doing. I didn't know when to increase my unit size. I didn't know how to increase my unit size. And I was just lost. I had to figure it all out on my own. You guys are gonna have all of this information. It's gonna be so much easier for you guys. So that's step 1, how we find our bankroll, how we find our unit size. That is the very basics of sports betting, the easiest thing that you're gonna learn. Now, step 2 is deciding how much we're going to play per game. Some people like to play 0.5 units per game. Some people like to play 3 units per game. Me personally, on just a standard bet, something that has normal expected value, I'm playing 1 unit. So I always do anything minus odds. So if we have something that's minus 110, just normal odds, I'm betting, say I'm a $10 bettor, I am betting $11, this is my risk, betting $11 to win 10. So our unit size is $10. Anything minus odds, we're betting to win 1 unit. Now, if we switch that up and we have something that's plus odds, let's say plus 110, I bet to risk 1 unit. So I'm betting to risk 10 to win, I should have put that in red, but to win 11. So risk, I'll erase that real quick and redo this. Hold up. Risking 10 to win 11. Now, if your unit size is $100, it's the same math. You would risk 110 to win 100, and anything plus odds, you risk 100 to win 110. That's just how I've noticed that I'm able to be most profitable, because typically with plus money plays, you have a little bit more of an edge. It's just the way that it works, the way the math works out. So we want to be able to risk a little bit more without increasing our overall risk. So when we have a plus 110, we increase our output because typically we have a little bit higher of an edge on plus money plays as opposed to minus money plays. Now, let's talk about the juice and what that means. Everyone knows what the juice is. Let me ask you, write this down before I give you the answer. When you're all going to know this because you've been betting on sports, but when you see a spread, right, just a normal spread, what are the odds? The odds for that, let's say the Lakers, like last night, Lakers were -4. But that's not just what's written, right? That's not the only thing you see on the sports book. You're also given the odds, right? -110. So these are the odds of the actual bet. Now you'll see different things for money lines. You're going to see -130, -140, -170. That's all the juice. We call that the tax for placing a bet. So with a normal spread, the tax is 10 cents. And that's going to sound crazy if you don't understand it yet. I'm going to get into it. But when we have a -110 odds bet, that is considered a 50-50 in gambling. Now, it's not actually. Nothing is really ever a 50-50. There's always a slight edge one way or another. But to the sports books, that's as close to a 50-50 as you're going to get. Now let's talk about why this is the reason that you're a losing sports bettor. This right here is the sole reason that you're a losing sports bettor. That juice. The average person is going to win bets at 50%. Right? If it's a 50% chance, you're going to win 50, you're going to lose 50 out of 100. Obviously, you're going to go on hot streaks, you're going to go on cold streaks, but on average, people are going to win at 50%, right? So with that, we can get rid of the game, but let's leave the odds. With that, if you're 50%, you're a massive negative EV player. You might say like, that is crazy. How is that even possible? So let's say we have 2 bets. We'll say Lakers. We'll just say Lakers are -110. And we'll say Celtics are -110, just for sake of conversation. These are 2 different games. The Lakers are playing the Clippers. The Celtics are playing the Hornets. The Lakers win and cover. Boom. So you're plus $10 because you risked 11 to win 10. The Celtics, they lose. You risk 11 to win 10. Boom. So even though you went 50-50, you're -$1. 0.1 units. So every time, if you're a 50% bettor, every time you place 2 units, every time you place 2 bets, you're on average losing 0.1 units. So every time you, as a sports bettor, are placing bets, every time you place 2 bets, you are negative expected value of 0.1 units every single time. And that's how Vegas makes so much money, is with this, but there's also other reasons as well. But we have to increase this percentage. We have to figure out how we overcome this juice. And the way that we do that, if we do some math, is we figure out what the break-even point is. So let's say we go 5 and 4. Do we win money? We do. We're up 5, we're down 4.4. We're up 0.6 units. Let's say we go 9 and 8. We're still up, +9, -8.8. We're up 0.2 units. We go 10 and 9, we're still up. The break-even point is 11 wins and 10 losses. So this is break even, because if you do the math, right, let's say we win 11 bets, we're up 11.0, and if we lose 10, we're down 10 units on the actual bets, and then each time we lose is an extra 0.1 of juice. So with that, we're down 10 units from the losses, and then 0.1 times 10 is down 11 units. So this is our break-even point. That is 0. So to get here, we have to figure out what that break-even point is. So we're going to divide 11, which is our wins, divided by the total number of outcomes bets that we place, 21. This is our break-even point. This is the break-even point for sports betting. You have to win 52.380 blah, 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 blah percent of the time. So pretty much 52.4% of the time, you're going to be break-even. If you can win bets at 52.4%, you're break-even. Now, the only way to become profitable is to win bets at a higher rate than this. If you win bets at this rate, you're not going to make any money. If you win bets at 51%, 52%, you are losing money long-term. You're a better sports bettor than 90% of the population, but you're losing money long-term. So we have to figure out, and this is what you're going to learn throughout this course, is how to get our bets from 50% to 52.4%. That's step one. And then from 52.4% to 54%, where we're actually making money. 55%, 56%, where the best sports bettors in the world are. That's about where I sit, 55.5 to 56.5%, depending on the year. The best sports bettor ever was at 57%, so no one's ever really going to go above that, maybe 100 years from now, but it's not really possible to go above 56.5%. This is our key number. I'm going to write this on the page, and it's going to stay up there forever. 52.38%. Make sure you write it down. That is the goal. So once you get through this and you start tracking your bets, we're going to track based on 52.4%. We're going to try to get you to that number as soon as possible, and then once we get there, then we can try and get you that 54%. So we're going to write that at the top, 52.4%. That is break even. That's where we have to get to as sports bettors to step one, become less losers, and then we can focus on becoming winners.